Well, the first Iowa State Fair was held in Fairfield, Iowa in 1854, some 160 years ago now. And it started very small in southeast Iowa. As the fair progressed from Fairfield, Iowa, I think it went to 8 cities in Iowa over the course of a number of years. And in 1879, it came to Des Moines. At that point, a few years later, the legislature set aside some money to purchase the site that we're on today, a site of 266 acres that was bought from the Calvin Thornton family. At that time, the first pavilion was built. It's Pioneer Hall. It's next door to the building that we're in today. And from that, we started building buildings and started erecting stalling barns for swine and sheep and horses and cattle. But along with that came that need for commercial exhibits and also a need for campgrounds for people to stay. Well, when you have all of that together, pretty soon a little entertainment breaks out, and I think the light bulb probably went off on the fair boards over top their head at some point, and they said, you know, this could be a really fantastic celebration of everything if we would just incorporate. So through the years, and really probably from the 1950s to today, the entertainment aspect was really added to it with a grandstand being erected in the early 1900s. And lots of bands from Jimmy Dorsey and his orchestra to all of the rock bands and country bands that you know and love today have been on the Iowa State Fair grandstand. It's really the focal hub of that, but really came to life in the 40s and 50s and then on to today. One of the things that have separated the Iowa State Fair from maybe other fairs around the country is our akin with politics and being the first state caucus throughout the nation. And because of that, one of the places to be and be seen is the Iowa State Fair. We make sure that everybody pays when they come to the Iowa State Fair, including politicians, including their entourage that comes with them. And so they have made it a case many times that they want everybody to know that the limousine pulled up to the front gate, they got out, they bought a ticket, and then they presented that ticket to the ticket taker and walked into the Iowa State Fair. And we actually have some of the dollars that were spent by the presidential candidates and presidents that came to the Iowa State Fair. Admission is $11 to come to the Iowa State Fair now. Back in the day, I see it was $2 from a few years ago, and even $1 prior to that. In the past 14 years that I've been at the Iowa State Fair, we've seen nothing short of 30 plus candidates coming to the Iowa State Fair to get their name out, to be and be seen here on the Iowa State Fairgrounds. Visitors that we've had in terms of presidents, we've had Gerald Ford come to the Iowa State Fair, Jimmy Carter. We had George W. Bush, and also President Barack Obama have come just as recently as 2012. Among those, many times we will see them going to the pork producer's booth or to the cattleman's booth, and they'll be serving iced tea to the folks that are there and carrying on a conversation. It's just that they do, and many candidates do that as well as, of course, our presidents with all of their security detail don't quite get as close to the people as maybe some of the candidates do. But still, it's a thrill for everybody for them to come, and just a feather in our cap and the state of Iowa's cap that they would respect the Iowa State Fair enough to come and share their time and talk to the folks here in Iowa. In 2007, we had 19 candidates for president come through the Iowa State Fairgrounds during the 11 days. Sometimes we had more than one candidate here at a time. The one I probably remember the most was our current president, Barack Obama. He and his wife and his children were all here that day. And the one thing that his kids wanted to do was ride the Midway. And so I was able to get them and take them into the Midway with a little help from our security, put them on a couple of the rides, and they just had a great time and had kind of as a family. I think they felt like this was a little relief to the campaign trail that for the kids was probably not so much fun, maybe a little boring, that they got to come to the fair and ride some rides at our Midway. And so not too much on politics, but to me that was a very memorable occasion. The Iowa State Fair, I feel like, has been a good partner with our newspaper here in town called the Des Moines Register. They have a spot of ground that they have leased from the Iowa State Fair during the fair, and in that they will always give candidates that are up for election a chance to give their speech and encourage all the fairgoers that want to gather around and listen. And I think that really has helped the Iowa State Fair, because candidates always want to get their message out. And in this way, it's kind of a bipartisan area, and it helps us out because we can offer that to candidates that sometimes want to stop everything at the Iowa State Fair and say, hey, I'm here, look at me. Well, we can say, yes, we can do that, but you're going to do that on the Des Moines Register stump. With any presidential campaign or any campaign, you have people on both sides, people that love the candidate. You may have people that don't love the candidate. And we have had a few times where we've had hecklers.
Everything corporations earn ultimately goes to people. So where do you think it goes? What? Whose pockets? Whose pockets? People's pockets. Okay, human beings, my friend.
And in some cases, we diverted a group that had meringue pies that we're going to throw at one of the vice presidential candidates in this past campaign. The Iowa State Fair and Des Moines have a very, very good relationship with any event that you have. Location, location, location is very important. And with the Iowa State Fair being in the capital city of Iowa, in Des Moines, and Des Moines being the largest city in Iowa, it has fostered a very, very good attendance record of the Iowa State Fair, and allowed us to grow and be in the focus of attention with the biggest city in Iowa. It's just a very good partnership. We're here on the east side and have a sprawling grounds that we can do and have a lot of exhibits and have something for everyone. The only thing we probably don't have is enough parking, and that's a wonderful problem to have.